Also, HBO's Bill Maher is now asking a question many of us have been asking for years.
Why isn't anyone ever talking to like Chicago? Like most of the shootings are young black men killing other young black men. Is that not correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, much more than what the cops do. Why doesn't anybody talk about that? Well, I mean, why aren't there, 100 giant black celebrities who would have the respect of those people saying, what are you doing to yourselves? Why are you killing each other?
Again, a question we've been asking for a long time, and so has Stacy Washington. She joins us now. She's the host of Stacy on the Right. Also with us today, retired NFL player Jack Brewer. He is the founder of the Jack Brewer Foundation. Stacy, Jack, great to have you both here.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to put up some graphics here on the screen that show Chicago, how they're dealing with this crime spike. And this is just through April of this year. Keep that in mind. But Stacy, I'm glad to hear Bill Maher asking a question. I know you've been asking for a while. I know Jack's been asking this for a while as well. Why doesn't President Biden and the Democratic Party ever talk about the crime in Chicago? I mean, they're going to have their convention there. Don't you think they would want to keep everyone going to the convention safe?
Well, I've been reading stories online on Instagram about people that are expecting them to relocate the homeless and a lot of the endemic issues that would make their city unpalatable to visitors. They're going to just dump those people in the suburbs and, they'll maybe redump them. Not sure what their long-term plan is. But solving crime is not an issue that Democrats care about because they have two militant arms of their party, BLM and Antifa, that commit crime. So, you have to pick your poison, and they choose to have those militants active during the campaign season. And I expect to see them active again next year when the presidential contest heats up. So why aren't black celebrities talking about it? Well, look what happened to Bill Cosby when he started telling young men to pull their pants up. It's not popular in Hollywood. If you want to work, if you want to keep your status there, you can't be telling different populations giving them a moral message, speaking about Christ, talking about what matters. You can't talk to them about how their lifestyle will lead to early death and they can't take advantage of the American dream. Those kinds of things are so-called Republican messages. Even our government, the IRS, thinks that those messages are strictly a Republican purview. But the fact is, these are scriptural messages that work for anyone. They're not based on skin color. The truth is the truth. If you live for God and you stay out of crime, you will do better in this country.
The biblical truth there. Let's talk about the messaging from our government, though. Specifically, President Biden, he was speaking yesterday about teachers and the celebration there in front of this crowd. This is what he says about children in our country.
Rebecca put a teacher's creed into words when she said, "There's no such thing as someone else's child. No such thing as someone else's child. Our nation's children are all our children."
Jack, I just want to bring you in here. You do so much with the Brewer Foundation, fatherless people. I look at Chicago and these kids are just lost. And it's not the government's children. It's parents who need to come and get their kids in order as well.
Definitely. We do have a community perspective on this as well. But at the same time, you can't fundraise off of all of these atrocities in these communities and race bait. You can't fundraise off of that and at the same time hold people accountable. And that's what's missing here. Is there's no talk about accountability from many on the left. And that's where we fall short. Accountability means that you actually rehabilitate these children that are lost. Accountability means you actually hold parents accountable for the actions of their children and expect for them to teach their children the 10 Commandments and give them some morality and spirituality. But you'll never hear the Biden administration talk about that. Why? Because they fundraise off of showing Americans that blacks are oppressed, and they want to use skin color to get votes and to continue their power in these communities. And it's really a sad situation because there are solutions to these issues. There are rehabilitation programs. I go into the prisons all the time, and our rehabilitation programs work. Rehabilitations in juveniles work, but rehabilitation means that you take accountability and you hold people accountable for what they've done. And so you'll never hear that from the left. And I think that is what at the core of it is destroying our nation, because we have a fatherless crisis that no one wants to deal with because it comes with accountability.
You deal with it on the national and on the state level, and not just in one state. You're doing it in a lot of places in Texas as well, working with them to get the 10 Commandments reinstated back in school. We'll talk more about that with you coming up. Stacy's going to stick around as well. We'll talk to you both a little bit later in the show. Great to see you.